All right, we start in Kenya this morning on the Daily Nation. It says their Ruto MPs still show in House. Contests. The National Assembly yesterday extended its sitting into the night to allow MPs to vote on amendments to the controversial finance bill, with President William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza side having its way early on. Speaker Moses Wetangula also acceded to demands for special consideration of some clauses, including those on value-added tax and housing levy.
I'd been waiting to see the outcome of this because I think they were sitting yesterday.
Absolutely. That's on page 7. Of course, a country of poor people, that's also something you can read on the Daily Nation this morning. 5 in every 13 Kenyans live in poverty in 2021, or lived rather, representing 38.6% of Kenya's population, and then an increase of 20.7% from 2019, according to new reports by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. We can also find here an article here saying, my family survives on 1 meal a day.
That's not good.
Rural overall poverty, 13,700,000. Hardcore poverty. Hardcore, 2.6 million, plus. It's funny. What do you mean by hardcore poverty? Overall poverty national, 19.1 million, and then hardcore poverty national, 2.8 million. But yeah, it basically just, paints a picture of what the poverty situation is like in Kenya and how much work that the Kenyan government, William Ruto and whoever it is that comes next, has to do to lift more people out of poverty. Confusion as some schools fail to get capitation money. I think these are the big stories on the Daily Nation newspapers this morning.
All right, let's head to Uganda with the Daily Monitor. And this morning on the front page of the Daily Monitor in Uganda, the big story says, Street Boys Gang Terrorizing City. That's what the big story this morning says. And we can see a sub-story there. It says, police say arrested gang members linked to at least 20 recent violent robberies, including around Kampala, have named people in the city center to whom they allegedly sell stolen items, including flat television sets, laptops, mobile phones, and electronic gadgets. Still on the front page, we have NRM names opposition MP to committee. And at the bottom of the paper, Indian nationals in fake URA invoices saga released after paying 60 million shillings, it seems. I'm not quite sure what this number. Okay, yeah, that looks like S, not 5. So yeah, that's 60 million shillings. Abducted students escape on page 4. Oh, wow. This is great news that we can hear that some of the students who have been abducted have escaped. We, of course, will be talking about the attack in Uganda, the unfortunate attack of the young people in Uganda. We've seen videos of their parents wailing on social media. It's not the prettiest sight, to be honest. We've also had updates of the parents having to submit DNA to find out. There was a video I saw of a father outside the school saying he doesn't even know if his child was murdered or if his child was among those who were abducted to carry the produce. So they're just waiting on the government to let them know what the position is. And it's just a terrible place to be in, not knowing, that feeling of not knowing. And even when you know, it doesn't make it any better. Yeah. But it's just several levels of grief that these parents have to go through, and it's a sad one there. We can see the pictures of the students who are still missing, and their photos are there. Surprise, Unasi, the names are not quite clear here, but yeah, these are the 4 photos of the students who are still missing. And the final story, the need for financial freedom in real estate. That's all that we can take this morning on the front page of the Daily Monitor in Uganda.
All right, now let's go to Nigeria and see what's on the Punch newspapers this morning and see what we can find here. It says that new service chiefs, 100 military generals may be retired. I think this is one of the things that was also mentioned yesterday, that when someone is nominated to be in charge of any of the military formations, those who, of course, were initially senior to him would have to retire because they can't answer to their junior. I think that's the way it works. But once again, new service chiefs, 100 military generals may be retired. Retirement gale to hit Army, Air Force, Navy, cost 37, and others may be affected. Chatima decorates acting IG Egbetukun as Baba Bak's successor to succeed. Of course, that's the former IG of police. Emefiele's detention backed by court order, says the DSS. And also flood sacks residents from Ogun communities. It's one of the things we're going to be talking about later on the show this morning. the detention of the former CBN governor by the DSS, and of course, like we've always said, it feels like every administration has its scapegoat, and someone that, the whole country backslides on, does different types of atilogo dances, about, after the administration leaves office. That is the poster boy a lot of times for corruption in that administration.
And the person
but
is
a lot
going
of times,
to see the proverbial shaggy.
Yeah, but the thing is, a lot of times, these are only just in the first few weeks or first few months of the new administration.
And then after
that,
when the people are forgotten,
it fades away. But here's the big thing. And for me, I feel like at this point, if Nigerians still do not see this, then it's shameful that there is no way that if you are going to talk about fighting corruption and, seeing that the previous administration was corrupt, there is no way that it was one person.
Yes. It's just like when we're talking about the iron sheet scandal in Uganda. And then there was just that minister who was the cover.
It's impossible. Even when you hear that a governor has been accused of mismanaging 5 billion naira, there is no way that it is just that one individual that is responsible for that, or that was, forged paperwork that diverted funds. It's not one person. And so it is very, very dishonest if, Nigerians continue to fall for these tricks or for these, their film tricks.
So the question now is,
blame one person and say,
why is someone still in detention? If you feel that you have evidence that the person is corrupt, shouldn't you charge them before a court of competent jurisdiction?
That's a different thing. So if you had investigated properly, then this shouldn't take time. You arrest, take to court, right? And so that's why once again it feels like a film trick, right? Every administration has that one scapegoat. And another thing is, why is the DSS? If you are accused of corruption, shouldn't it be the EFCC or ICPC? What's the DSS business with it?
So, they'll tell you it's related to state security.
Okay. Well, till then, because a lot of times, nobody really gets to explain these things because nobody wants to answer these questions. But once again, it is never one person. There's never it is only in the CBN that there was corruption. If you ask clearly, you see there was corruption everywhere.
And even the corruption, if you want to even say that it was only in the CBN, which is not possible that there was corruption, there were foot soldiers, there were people that helped, to carry out whatever act was being carried out. So
absolutely. And if you don't clean that up, then
you're just removing the symptoms without dealing with the roots.
Anyway, the final few stories on the Punch this morning here says PDP holds reconciliation parley. Wike, others absent. I saw Ose Aneni, who's a pretty popular, member of the People's Democratic Party, tweeted yesterday or sometime early this morning that the current PDP leadership doesn't deserve any followership.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Of course, he's a very strong member of the PDP, by the way. Federal government votes 24 billion naira for 10th National Assembly members' accommodation.
Hey!
Naira closed at 756 naira to the dollar as trading rises at official window. And final story here states external debt rises to 3 trillion naira.
Okay, so yesterday we closed at 770, I think. So we're gaining. So that's a good one. Anyway.
All right. I think these are the stories that we can share at this time.